Alright, it is 10:09 a.m. and I just realized the microphone was not completely plugged in, so I just realized that a whole bunch of my commentary was not actually recorded. I just had a sell here. I'll go over the other stocks very briefly, as quick as I can after this one, but I was just in a trade with ENZC and I was looking at RMSL previously. This one did work out, and I kind of felt bad because I started to focus on ENZC more than RMSL when it was doing this drop. And this one actually did something nice, maybe because it was out trading the past 3 days, and maybe that's why it was more likely going to do something like this. This one offered a morning panic bounce play. I didn't trade it. I was starting to look at ENZC, and I didn't like it because it was just downtrending and it wasn't able to breathe because there were these big sellers at the 602 level, and also there was a big seller at 6 at some point, and it eventually started to work its way back, and I thought, you know what, it looks like it's actually trying to make a move towards the upside. So I got in at 10:05, and that was 5,000 shares at 6. In theory, it was according to my $10 risk level. I was in right here at 10:05 because of the, and this is kind of nerve-wracking. I kind of got out of it really quickly, but maybe this thing will continue to make a move towards the upside. Worst case scenario, I would have gotten out if it were to have broken this 59 level, and then with slippage, maybe worst case I'm out at 58, and that would have been a $10 loss according to my $10 risk level. And yeah, I got in because it looks like it was going to actually break the level and make a move towards the upside, especially because it was a big seller at 602 that disappeared. And then, we did get out, and then it just popped off. I don't know, this is a good problem to have, but recently, a lot of the setups I take when I take a buy just shoots straight up, or at least in this case, it just jumps in the air. Ideally, I would like it to just slowly uptrend so then I have more patience and I can hold on to the setup better, but I haven't been able to do that. And I did sell at 10:08 at 613, which was right here when I had that freaky just spike up in the air, just kind of crazy. But this one was also interesting because if you look way back here, this is like the lowest point this stock has ever been, at least the last time, which was back here in December. And the bottom was this 6 level, so that was a pretty important level. And I was watching and thinking maybe this is going to hold the level because it's such an important level. But I also thought maybe it'll just break under it and then it will be a big panic, a continuation, or in this case, it just had a drop, it broke past it, and then it came back. So yeah, this thing can continue to make a move perhaps, but I just don't like how it just jumped on the air. In RMSL, I could have traded in theory, and this one also worked out. I did trade NWBO in the morning. I can't believe it. At least I found out now that the thing wasn't actually recording my audio, but NWBO was like a high day breakout in theory, and the important level was 97. And if you look at the other day, it was struggling very hard. It never broke past 97, as you can see all of the times it tried, and it wasn't able to do it. But when it did it in the morning, it actually did do it. And I didn't trade that many shares. I did stick to, I think it is a $10 risk level here. I bought 250 shares at 98.99 at 931, which was right here because it was breaking that 97 level and it was continuously uptrending. And, I was in it for that reason right around here. Yeah, right around here is when I got in. And I had a really wide risk in theory. I thought it was going to break VWAP worst case scenario. I'll be cutting it and I'm out at 95, and I think that would have been a $10 risk level. It did get as high as 103, but those were just a few prints that got through because at times it trades with a bit of a spread. It wasn't really consistent. Most of the trading was down here, and I got out the same minute at 99.67, which was right here when I got out. I probably made a little bit, not very much. I just didn't like the way it was trading and how it wasn't really much of what I would consider a really good morning spike. So for that reason, I got out. But I could have continued to make a move, but I didn't like the price action, and that was a pretty good call for what it was. The volume is dried up. I have no more interest in it. And that is really about it. As for the other stocks, I believe I didn't have much of an interest trading LCOP because it was just up one day, even though it was up massively. I've had no interest with ABML. And I was looking at DPLS if maybe it was going to drop and hold VWAP and continue the uptrend, but it didn't do it. There were some big sellers at the ask, and maybe it'll try to reverse here and be like a dip under VWAP here, and maybe risk this level. It's trying to uptrend. Maybe it can do that, but I mean, it's had so many moves toward the upside. Maybe it's kind of running out of momentum, but maybe it can do something. Wow, that really stinks. I just wasn't recording. I just noticed that it wasn't getting a signal from the microphone, and I was messing around with some cables on the back of the computer. It just wasn't plugged in all the way, but at least I got this recorded now. And yeah, that's two trades with NWBO, ENZC. I'll make an update as to what they do later, but yeah, this thing just popped in the air. If a stock just shoots straight up in the air or it just jumps like it did here, unfortunately, I will be getting out of it, and it might continue to make a move, but I just want to play it safe when it does something like that. Okay, it is 11:04 p.m. and I am up on the day, $8.20, trading NWBO, ENZC, and NWBO kind of worked. I mean, there were some ticks that was able to get through as high as this $1.03 level, but that was pretty hard. This was pretty much a scratch, and it did do a dip. I wouldn't have really have had much interest in trading something like this, but I mean, I guess it did dip to a support level around this level, but I probably wouldn't have been that interested in it because it doesn't really trade with the best amount of volume and liquidity, but it did uptrend and, trying to make a move towards the highs again. And, maybe this could be something again over a longer period of time can build out, but I'm not much of a long-term trader or a swing trader in that sense. And the other trade again was with ENZZ. This one did get pretty volatile eventually. It had right here a big spike, right? And it started turning around. Maybe I could have thought longer term and considered maybe the idea that it broke the level here briefly, but then it came back, right? And then it starts the uptrend later, perhaps, but I don't mind it too much. As for the day trade, I was pretty happy with it. Again, with a buy right here and a sell around the 613 level. And that was really about it. There wasn't anything else that I was truly interested in. And RMSL could have been that morning panic bounce play that I could have traded as well. Looks like ABML is actually trying to uptrend, which is great. It just takes its time. I'll continue to keep trying. I'm pretty happy that I traded both of the setups with a $10 risk level. That means I think I'm getting more confidence. It feels like it for sure. And if I can see more consistency in that sense, I can slowly try to increase my dollar risk level and trade more size, God willing. And yeah, pretty happy overall. I think I could have done a few things better, but it was definitely a good learning lesson.